Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Firstly, let me touch on the question of Malaysia's response. This situation is unprecedented. We are in the middle of a multinational search involving many countries. I've chaired 3 NOK meetings so far, on the 7th, 10th, and the 3rd subcommittee meeting on the 14th of April 2014. The meetings were attended by representatives from 16 relevant ministries and agencies. This morning, my committee had another meeting with the next of kin in Malaysia to try and find a solution for the family members to move forward. As the chair of the next of kin committee, I understand the anguish and pain the families are going through, and I give my personal assurance that our committee is keeping the families' best interests close to our hearts. Let me take this opportunity to update you on the progress of our committee so far. We have looked into various issues related to the NOK of passengers on MH370. The subcommittee on NOK, as stated by Datuk Sri Hishamuddin on his press conference yesterday, is working closely with various governments, especially the countries whose nationals were on board MH370. From the meetings with the respective embassies and high commissions, various issues that needed urgent attention were addressed, such as the objective and framework of our committee. The subcommittee has also undertaken steps to address the needs and welfare of the Chinese NOK, including assigning Datin Paduka Chiume Fund to discuss with the Chinese government on the needs and welfare of the Chinese NOK, and during the meeting, both sides have exchanged views and discussed ways and means to assist the next of kin in Beijing. In my capacity as Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, I'll be travelling to Beijing soon to also ensure that bilateral relations between the two countries will continue to be strong and unaffected by the MH370 issue. And this morning, I met with some of the family members of those on board MH370, and part of our discussion with the next of kin was to find a solution for the family members to move forward, as they have gone through so much. I can completely understand their need to find answers. However, as I said in the briefing just now, we are looking for the answers ourselves. We also touched on the topic of financial assistance in the meeting, and they have decided that they will propose a plan for financial assistance, which will be emailed to me as soon as possible. I have promised them that I will bring up this matter in the committee meeting tomorrow morning. We are working closely with them to ensure that, as said before, their best interests would remain close to our hearts. We realize this is an excruciating time for the families of those on board. No words can describe the pain they must be going through. We understand the desperate need for information on behalf of the families and those watching around the world. In the meantime, our thoughts remain with the families and friends of those on board. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start the session for Q&A today, I would like to also introduce Datin Paduka Chiume Fund, Special Envoy of Government of Malaysia to China on NOK matters, and Datuk Sri Long Si Wo, Secretary General of Ministry of Transport. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, we will take questions only on NOK matters. Please. questions specific on NOK only. So to start off the floor, I hereby local video will start. Producer, could you stand up and introduce yourself, sir?
Just nak buat difahamkan katanya government dah minta supaya family members set date dalam meeting tadi. Boleh jelaskan date tu untuk verify hilang ke apa?
Setkan apa? Date.
Bagi cadangan date kepada government antara salah satu.
Tidak. Saya nak jelaskan perbincangan kita tadi adalah untuk memberitahu bahawa kita tidak boleh berpanjangan. Kita mesti ada timeline untuk kepastian dari segi when I mentioned about moving forward tadi itu, oleh kerana banyak masalah-masalah yang timbul dari segi banyak-banyak perkara, sama ada dari segi bankingnya, dari segi kehidupan mereka yang memerlukan bantuan, kalau the breadwinner seorang saja contohnya, the spouses itu. Jadi ini semua mesti memerlukan kepastian tarikh mana untuk kita umumkan. Itulah yang maksud yang kita berikan kepada the next of kin tadi. Bukan bermakna dia bagi kepada kita tarikh itu, tidak. Kita nak bagi tahu dengan mereka, kita akan decide dalam masa yang terdekat. Ya.
I'm from Wami. Sebab saya tanya kan, previously ada cakap masalah verify dengan the next of kin kan. Setakat manakah orang yang telah di-identify?
Kita mempunyai passengers yang dan juga kru yang begitu ramai, yang datangnya daripada termasuk negara kita 15 negara keseluruhannya. Identification yang kita buat itu sudah bermula sudah lebih kurang 2 minggu, dan kita ada dapat maklumat tentang the next of kin. Tapi masalahnya untuk kita mendapat persetujuan daripada next of kin tentang siapa yang menjadi representatif mereka, itu yang kita mohon daripada next of kin. Tidak, sebab kita tidak mahu kalau yang datang itu 20 orang sebagai contoh, itu terlampau ramai. We have to reduce the number, and I say that we would like to have satu atau dua representatif. Cadangan mereka untuk kita menerima 2 orang representatif. Itulah cadangan yang dikemukakan kepada kita pagi tadi.
Ada tak yang menyamar sebagai next of kin?
Seperti biasa, bila kita kumpulkan begitu ramai, ada orang yang tidak patut ada dalam dewan pun masih lagi ada. Itu perkara biasa.
Yes, from BFM, please.
I'm Keith from BFM. It's been 3 weeks since Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib said that the plane ended in the Indian Ocean, and no one's publicly said that there's been no survivors. Can you confirm that there are no survivors? Are you publicly confirming that there are no survivors? Also, how many family members have actually requested for death certificates, and is Putrajaya in the process of working on this? Thank you.
Okay, first question is a technical question which I do not want to answer you. As I mentioned just now, that question you can raise it with the technical committee. And the second question on the death certificate, as I also mentioned just now, we are looking at the date to announce. Once we want to make that kind of announcement, we would like to actually confirm certain issues, certain evidence or certain things that we think it is proper before we make that kind of announcement. So we have to really understand the situation, because it is not only meant for us to find the aircraft, but also making sure the next of kin understand the purpose of the announcement that we are going to make.
What sort of parameters are you looking at before you decide on something?
We do not have to tell you, but we will announce it as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, next question please, behind the please.
Datuk Sofia Bermintaran, Datuk.
Sofia, ya Sofia.
Yes. Datuk, difahamkan keluarga penumpang daripada China masih tidak dapat menerima penjelasan yang diberikan oleh kerajaan daripada berunding secara penuh diplomasi, apa lagi cara yang boleh kerajaan lakukan untuk meredakan kemarahan mereka dan menjawab pertanyaan-pertanyaan mereka berkenaan insiden?
Saya nak jelaskan di sini. Sudah 44 hari kita cuba untuk mencari kepastian di manakah the missing aircraft yang semua tertanya-tanya. Sama ada the next of kin, sama ada kerajaan atau the citizen of the world. Perkara ini adalah sesuatu perkara yang tidak pernah berlaku di mana-mana sekalipun. Sebab itu, kalau mereka tidak percaya tentang apa yang kita maklumkan, kita semua kena faham bahawa ini memang susah untuk kita percaya, because this thing happened for the first time in the whole world. Jadi bukanlah mudah untuk kita memberikan kepercayaan kepada mereka bahawa apa saja yang kita berikan, information yang kita berikan adalah sesuatu yang kita sendiri menerima selepas analisis yang dibuat oleh beberapa experts yang telah pun kita yang telah pun kita sediakan. Maka sebab itu perundingan yang kita buat dengan kerajaan China adalah untuk mereka sentiasa memberi sokongan, pertama dari segi search and rescue operation yang masih lagi dijalankan sampai kita berjumpa atau until we found the missing aircraft. Yang kedua, tentang hubungan baik kita dengan China, supaya masalah ini nanti bukan menyebabkan hubungan baik ini tergendala ataupun miscommunication, kurang faham tentang apa yang kita berikan, mesti dijelaskan oleh kerajaan China kepada next of kin yang mereka sendiri mungkin faham dari segi culture-nya, dari segi semua tentang kedudukan mereka yang datang bukan hanya daripada Beijing tetapi 26 kawasan semuanya dalam negeri China. Jadi kalau mereka sendiri pun tertanya-tanya tentang cara, culture dan sebagainya, apakah pula kita daripada Malaysia yang jauh daripada negara China. Itulah dia perbincangan yang kita buat di antara kerajaan Malaysia dan juga kerajaan negeri China. Terima kasih.
Alright.
Hi, I'm from Orator Lady. My question is who will give the financial assistance? Is it from us or from government? And is it only for Malaysia family? Because just now the family we asked, they say it's just for Malaysia family only. So is it include China family?
When we talk about financial assistance, we got to be fair to everybody. The only discussion that we talk to currently is to the next of kin in Malaysia and two representatives from China. So it doesn't mean that we will only talk to the Malaysian next of kin. We will talk to everybody. But currently we will only manage to get this group of people in Malaysia, and we have already sent Datin Paduka Chu to Beijing. And after this, she's going again to talk to the next of kin, and we will move forward with the rest through our embassies in every part of the world. Probably those people who are involved, the 14 nationals who are involved in the MH370. So the financial assistance will actually meant for everybody, and it will come from us and also from government, which is necessary.
Okay, any other question, please? Yes.
Many families say they're very frustrated with the lack of answers and a lot of technical questions for you. Why can't you give them more answers at this point?
See, the thing is like this. As I mentioned earlier, it is the unprecedented event. The only answer that we can give is the answers that have been verified. So, when they ask us questions, we have got to actually ask from the technical team before we can convey it to them. Once we convey it to them, they will ask another question, which also, for us, we have to actually give to the technical committee for them to give back the answer, and we pass it on to them. The problem is, all the time, every time when we mention about the answers given, they say we are hiding something, which, I mean, that's the facts, the matters that we have already given from day one until today. They still the same. So I don't know how to answer you by saying if it is frustration, it is normal. I think it is fair for them to be frustrated, and it is also fair for us to give them the answers which has been verified. Okay?
Yes.
May I know currently Melissa from Channel News Asia, how regular the briefing right now to Chinese families? Because a lot of them say that the promised briefing never happened. How regular the briefing for families in China? And from your survey or your gauge, at least how many percent have accepted the reality? How many are still hanging to hope? 50%?
We want it to be 100%. I think it is very difficult for us to get that kind of answer, for 80% to accept the fact of what we wanted so far. And for our team in Beijing, we still have a team from MAS. We also our representative from our technical committee, and every now and then when they need us to come and talk to them, we are doing it. So depending, because sometimes we give the masih lagi ada
high level technical team.
Right. So from now onwards, it's actually we are giving through MAS technical team. They are still there in Beijing. They'll get a briefing through MAS technical team. Not to say every week, depending on certain issues that comes up. Right?
Last questions. Okay. Yep. Anybody else? One last question. All right. Before we wrap it up for the day.
Young Cheng from Sinchureli. You just mentioned that the compensation will be coming from us and the government. So I would like to know how many percent will the government bear?
As I mentioned, if it is necessary, everything will come from us, and if it is necessary for us to come in to help, we will come in and help. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes the session for today.